This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Saturday Morning Mysteries, but not a full episode today. We have more bonus content for you, in addition to our Toon Tangents, where we discuss other cartoons, just our nerdy obsession with them and their readaptations and revivals. We also are going to do something that we're calling Crime Capers, another piece of bonus content where we look more at weird and wacky crimes and court cases and whatnot that just really need to be told to not only to us, to each other, but to you all as well. So I'm excited. Grace, I have no clue what sort of wacky crime you're going to want to talk to me about today, but I am very, very, very excited for it and for this discussion that will follow.
Yep. We are starting with a crime classic in like the funny crime world. Classic. Known as the Florida Man.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So are you familiar like with this concept at all, or like this internet sensation?
You mean just like how wild a lot of Florida people are, which I got to be careful saying that. My father is now a Florida man and my uncle as well. I've got family members in Florida, but native Floridians. Yeah, a little bit. You kind of just like Google Florida man ... and see what pops up, because there's always going to be something.
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
So that's pretty much the concept. Yes, it's an oldie but a goodie. And basically, like a few years ago, the internet realized that Florida has like insane headlines on like a weirdly regular basis, and obviously crimes to go along with them that are like truly baffling and hilarious in like a, wait, excuse me? Like, what's your plan?
Yeah.
What is
Where
happening?
are you going with this?
Yeah, like
how did you get here?
Yeah, you think this, look at your life, look at your choices type of way.
It's like stuff that makes people in other countries say like, oh, only in Florida.
Yeah, this is like why Florida has like this reputation, and like the US probably.
Yes.
And so I wanted to, today go through a few headlines that caught my eye kind of in the last 2 years. But I also am going to get into at the end of why these headlines exist, and they're so crazy, and like why the quote unquote like Florida man trope exists essentially. And like, in this first, I think like took to the internet, or, went viral or whatever. I don't know, maybe like 2015 or 2016. And then in 2020, there was like a resurgence because we were all just like isolating at home all the time and only had the internet.
We needed to think of things going on around the world that were wilder than what we were individually experiencing. Like, oh, life is so crazy right now, but I'm not a Florida man.
At least I'm not that.
XYZ. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Anyway.
And like sometimes they're so ridiculous that it like just doesn't feel real most of the time. That again, it's like say what now? Like they did what? Hold on.
Like pretty sure, sorry, and this is the last thing I'll say before you jump in, or before I let you jump in, but just to like sum all of this up before we get started, I'm pretty sure that the whole bath salts craze started in Florida, didn't it? Maybe I should look that up. I don't want to like attribute that wrongly to them, but like almost every fiber of my being says like, yeah, I think one of the first big cases where like a dude was like eating someone's face off from bath salts was from Florida.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't sum up why this is just going to be like an absolutely wild discussion, nothing will. So with that, I'll step back. I cannot wait to hear what stories you have.
Yeah, let's tell you.
If they make you laugh, then my God, they're probably hilarious.
Yeah. So before I also jump in, again, we'll get into some theories and then full reasons why the Florida man trope exists. I also want to note that I personally am like not a really big fan of like stating the criminal's name. Like I know in like true crime, like murder podcast, when it's like a serial killer, like you're telling a long story and you literally just like have to say their name type of thing. But like in reality, I'm like, I don't want to give you credit for like the weird shit that you did. Yeah. So we're just going to call him Florida Man for all of these.
That works.
So first is the update to an ongoing Florida Man story.
Cool.
and the headline
Current
doesn't
events.
follow the script of like Florida Man does ... But basically this, I'll just kind of tell you like the whole story. So a few years back, this literal teenager, he was like 15 years old, dressed up as a doctor and like would walk through the hospital pretending to be a doctor, like stethoscope, badge, everything.
Doogie Howser style.
Yeah,
except
like
Doogie was actually a doctor.
But like a Catch Me If You Can type of thing, like Leonardo DiCaprio, but like that was in the 60s, so you could get away with it.
Yeah, I forget that guy's real name.
Yep.
But whatever. Anyway,
whatever that dude's name is. Great film though. Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. Incredible film.
Yeah. I think the first time I saw that was with you, actually.
Probably. It definitely came out. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because you were like, we gotta watch this. I love this. And I was like, I've never seen it, but okay.
And I was like, you have no choice. Let's watch it now.
I was like, okay, I'm watching it.
Yeah. And so luckily though, he kind of got caught that he was pretending to be a doctor before he actually like pretended to see any patients. So no like actual harm done there.
Good.
But somehow like a year later when he was like 16 or some shit, I guess he had enough money, and there are a lot of also in his background like defrauding of old ladies cases. So I think this is how he had the money to rent out an office space, like full on, like gave it a medical title, had a door plaque that claimed he was an MD. Saw patients.
Or it's gonna be over on your ass.
Yep. So full on, he like claimed he was some type of like holistic doctor, but still claiming he was an MD. And then some local news station caught on, and like because he was 16, because he's a dumbass, he invited them in which they got like news footage like of his office claiming he is an MD, seeing one of the news crew as a patient.
Opposing counsel is like, oh my God, we cannot wait to introduce this into evidence.
They came back the next day, the news crew, and I think he must have done some Googling that night, because he put a piece of like duct tape over where it said MD. And he was like, no, I'm a PhD type of doctor, not an MD. And the news crew was like, hey, literally you just saw us as a patient yesterday, like undercover. And also we have the footage that says you're an MD. For those of you listening, you can't. And he also had like a fake medical license from like Arizona or something on his wall.
Oh gosh.
You can't pretend like you have a medical license. You especially can't see patients and give medical advice. All of that is very illegal.
Very illegal. Very illegal.
So he got into some deep trouble. Pretty sure he went to prison. Got out, which is good. Like he wasn't like good in the sense of
he wasn't since he didn't actually hurt someone, he wasn't technically a violent offender, I guess.
Exactly.
But still.
He recently hit headlines again because I don't know where he was working, but he was working somewhere and would for the clients like invoices, he would give them his personal bank account instead of the company's bank account.
Oh my God. This just keeps getting worse and worse. And like, I get it. He's not actually a doctor, so he's not subject to those ethical rules.
Yep.
But at least like in the legal practice, you can't do that when you're a lawyer. You can't. So I know doctors can't do it either. Yeah. And again, I know he's not actually a doctor, but if you're going to pretend to be one.
Yep. Well, of like what he's doing now, he's not even pretending to be a doctor now. He was working at an actual company, but working with like front-facing clients, and was just giving them like, oh yeah, like you can pay here. And it was his personal bank account. So he was like,
that's embezzlement.
Yep, exactly. Yep. He was embezzling funds from the company that hired him. He's like 23 now.
He's moved up.
Yep. So he's not like, pretending to be a doctor anymore, but still, embezzling funds. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, like just in this last January or February, got in trouble for that. So, that's the first one. So yeah, that's just an ongoing tale. And
I cannot wait to hear what happens to him. He's
great.
Actually, I don't know.
He's an adult now.
He might get in more trouble for the embezzlement, but I don't know. Actually, I think he will. I don't know Florida law,
and I think,
or if they're trying to go federal with any of those charges or whatnot.
Yeah,
but
it probably depends on the company's stance. But also, I think the previous ones, because he was a minor, that he was treated as such. Like I know his name was withheld for a while. Because he was under 18, but now that he's an adult, different situation.
Aaron / whatever.
Yep, exactly.
Whatever your real name, Florida Man.
Okay. So then for some reason, the next few I chose to tell you about all have to do with animals. I think that just Florida. Spoke to me.
They're everywhere. Exactly. There. Yeah.
So this next one, I fully wrote down all of, like, is going to be directly quoting from some articles and the headlines. So this is from Gabrielle Nunez's clickorlando.com article, in which the headline is Florida man accused of trying to steal horses, riding them home. Deputies say. So basically,
wow. You can't steal cars because they don't leave cars in the or keys in the dealership lot. So hey, you got to steal a method of transportation. Yep. A horse. So ride it on home.
Dude claims that he just thought horses should be free. Like he didn't think horses should be like I don't know, confined,
domesticated.
So he went to a ranch and just like opened up the stables. He also stole the ranch owner's truck to try and like corral and like herd the horses that were all, by the way, each horse was between like $20,000 to $80,000.
Yeah.
Plus stealing someone's truck. So like a lot of
money at stake.
Value and money. But I guess at one point the truck was plan B to the backup plan, because I guess the first part of the plan was like he tried to ride one of the horses home, which also I guess he's trying to bring them home, but also wants them to be free. I'm not sure here what this logic was, but quote,
like, I don't want them to be captive here,
but at my home, I do.
I'll treat them better. I'll treat them right.
And the article said, like, quote, tried to ride one of them home, but it got away, which also means like the guy probably sucked at riding horses. The horse that he was trying to ride, if he was on the horse and that horse got away, which probably means the horse bucked him off.
Yeah, shit.
So he's not good at taking care of horses. And
oh my God.
Yeah, so got in trouble for that. I think all the horses ended up being fine. It was probably a huge fucking ranch, and like they probably never made it off the property.
This story reminds me just recently, I think it was last year. And sorry, I'm looking down because I'm looking at my phone to get it, make sure I get at least some of these facts right. Where I live currently in Maryland, they're not like in my county necessarily or in my neighborhood, but there was a group of zebras that got loose. The Maryland zebras. And honestly, a lot of people in like DC and Maryland and Virginia were like pooling for them to not be caught. Because we were like, wait a minute, how cool would it be to say that there are zebras like native to like, oh, you find them in Africa and also in Maryland, USA, randomly. Because some guy had like a whole farm of them, and it was reported anywhere from like 2 to 5 of them were just running loose throughout the state of Maryland for like literally months last year, like months. I think one of them died because someone had a trap set up for hunting just in general, because it's Maryland. There's like a lot of like wooded areas and whatnot, in, like rural areas. And a zebra got caught in it. Oh my God, it's so sad because these things were like heroes for the DMV area. Amazing. And it eventually died, but that's so funny because it just reminds me of that, like, horses be free, zebras be free. See them running wild.
Fun fact, on your eventual trip to the West Coast, in which you visit myself, then go down San Fran to go see BK, another one of our friends. If you drive down,
hope she's listening, shout out if so.
Yeah, come on, Bethany, what up? I think this is probably along the way, because I think it's maybe on the drive through like Big Sur or something, but there's this place called Hearst Castle, which is just like this eccentric billionaire who has like 150 zebras on like 100,000 acres of land. So sometimes when you're just driving along like the 101, which is like the Pacific Coast Highway, you just see some zebras on just chilling. Guys. They just do their thing. It's great.
I guess that's probably a good climate for them, because like out here people were concerned like, oh, how will they do during the winter?
Not good.
And it was funny, you like actually had like specialists from like universities and like the Smithsonian Institute.
God.
Like, well, some areas where zebras are native can get a little colder, so they actually might do it. Like they were like
they have a chance.
analyzing. Yeah, it's awesome.
Wow, what amazing day to be a zoologist.
That's I definitely would want to see that when I come out and visit y'all. See like a whole horde of them rather than just like one as I'm driving on the highway. Like, oh, there's a zebra.
You shouldn't be here. Be careful. Yep. Okay, so our next
anyway,
one,
sorry. Yeah, more Florida Man though.
Yeah, you're good. So is Alan Shadd's Herald Tribune article. Florida man steals parrot by putting bird in shorts pocket. And it's exactly what it sounds like. A dude went into a pet store, wanted a parrot. Luckily, I guess he also stole some like food, but he literally just opened a cage, just took the parrot and put it in his pocket and then like booked it out of there, like jumped in his car and like zipped away. But of course, because there's like security cameras everywhere, they just like ID'd who he was, went to his house and was like, sir, can
we have our parrot back?
Give us the parrot back. The parrot was fine, was not injured in this process, but he stole like $500. I don't know if parrots are expensive or he just stole a lot of food, but it was like something like $500 worth of like product, I guess.
Whatever,
from this Venice, pet store.
I would guess the parrots are at least $500 at
right?
least.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like super exotic bird. They're very smart.
Yeah,
it's not like everyone can own one. So yeah,
I think it was
unless maybe it was a very small one or something.
He definitely
like
was
not
little.
like okay.
Yeah, but it was like a baby parrot, I guess. But he just put it in his pocket. I guess he really needed a friend, and he just took it home. But parrot was recovered. He was happy. He was chilling. He's had like a wild adventure to come back to the pet store and tell all of his parrot friends about. He was like, y'all, I was a criminal for a little bit. Like I was on the lam, baby.
The parrot was kidnapped.
Exactly.
And just common theft.
Common theft, basically.
Good old larceny.
Yeah. This did also though remind me of this great tweet I saw once, which was no pun intended, this is about parrots. But it was someone was like, if I ever get a parrot, I'm only gonna teach them like 4 phrases, which is like what were they? I wish I remember verbatim. Basically, it was like, please help me. Please remove the witch's curse. I miss my family. I used to be human. And like, that's all you teach your parrot. To act like it was cursed, which I really love. So maybe he was going to do that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So there's that.
He is your friend who said that they wanted to do that. Did you say your friend said they wanted to train them?
It was just on Twitter. So
someone you randomly saw. Okay.
Yep,
yeah.
So
it was that person. That man on Twitter is the person who sold this parrot.
Probably. He's like, yo, this is my plan.
I'll never be able to prank anyone now.
Yeah. Which also that reminds me of this great opening scene from Parks and Rec once, which I don't know if you ever watched it, of when where Tom Haverford
like my was like show.
In court and they were like, sir, you were driving while texting about running into fire hydrant. He was like, no, I wasn't. And then it like shows his live text, or like he ran into someone like rear-ended and he was trying to plead innocent. And it was like all of his tweets, like, damn, this lady's driving so slow. Damn, I'm gonna tailgate her. Oh no!
Hit a fire hydrant or something.
Like, live tweeted the accident he caused.
Yes, and as the judge is like trying to take his phone, he's like, bailiff, press in.
Exactly. Yeah, so it was real good.
Yeah, fucking love that show. Also, side note, whenever we do our main episodes, I always feel like Andy Dwyer in the episode with the debate. When he's like he doesn't pay the cable bill and so they can't watch the debate and so he's just like retelling like Rambo and like Babe and stuff. That's how I feel so often in our main episodes when we're like retelling.
But it's like it clips the audience and the audience is like crying from his like retelling of it. Like when it's like Babe, they're like fully in tears because he's doing
some of the best parts about that show are when they pan to like audience reactions and how they're like actually so serious. Like you see these like upper middle class people like sitting in Andy and April's like family room, like actually like listening, like
so in like
Donna Meagle's crying, like oh my god, Babe, it's so beautiful.
Incredible.
Anyway,
my all-time favorite show.
Yeah.
So anyways,
in another life, maybe we'll do a non-animated type of podcast where we can talk about like Parks and Rec and The Office and just like shit like that.
All iconic.
Those shows are just Absolutely
Perfection.
beautiful. Another Florida Man story?
Yes, another Florida Man story.
All right.
So this is our this will be the last Florida Man story before I get into why the Florida Man exists. So quote, Florida Man stabbed with swordfish. I know, that's my reaction too.
There's so many twists and turns from those like 4 words alone.
So basically 2 drunk dudes were just fighting. One, I guess, like hit the other one with a beer bottle and then like booked it out of there and went home. The other one, which this is what makes the story, in the end, both men recovered and are fine. So we can talk about it and laugh about it. But it wasn't like a spur of the moment got stabbed with a swordfish. It's presumably still drunk, but the guy, like a guy literally went back to his apartment. The guy who was fighting with somehow acquired a swordfish. I don't know how close they were to his apartment, but went to the friend's house. Friend opened the door. Other guy used swordfish, sword, nose, whatever the swordfish part is, to stab him in the gut. So like,
and it actually stabbed him?
Yes.
Oh shit. So like they really,
He went to they really stab. But yeah, like it's not like they had been out fishing with each other. So it wasn't like they were in the middle of a fight and he just needed to grab something quickly to defend himself and like stab him. He went through the lengths of like obtaining the swordfish as a weapon, finding his friend's house, like all
in legal
very
parlance.
Drunk.
In legal parlance, at least when it comes to like homicide cases, we call that a cooling down period.
Yeah, he had a cooling down and then ramped back up.
In this case, there's no way he can assert self-defense because literally he like an hour probably went by between the initial altercation and him grabbing a freaking swordfish. Also, so was the swordfish a lot? How
we don't know.
Like, he kept it in water in the car and he's driving it and he like takes it, brings the cooler up the stairs, takes it out of a cooler.
I mean, maybe he could have claimed like the fish was still alive, like they caught it that day, and he was like, "Bro, I was just dropping off the fish you caught because you forgot it at the docks
when you opened
but it
the
was
door
still
and
alive,
so
it freaked out and stabbed you. The fish is liable, not me."
It was a peace offering after you smashed a beer bottle on my head, and then I was drunk. The fish went crazy. I tripped and stabbed you in the stomach. Sorry. So I was 2 years old when I learned that like a swordfish could legitimately stab you. Like I knew that they're whatever you call them, not nostrils. What is that?
I don't know what part.
I know it's like sharp.
Yes,
it's where they get their name from, but
anatomically what it actually is.
Your fucking stomach. Oh my god.
And I'm just thinking of like the nurses who had to like deal with like that wound of being like cause of accident. Swordfish. It's like, I don't get paid enough for this shit. And because it was like in the last 2 years, which meant this nurse was probably like, I have fucking COVID patients that I need to deal with, and I'm dealing with you getting stabbed by a swordfish. Hopefully that made their day, I guess, but still.
Yeah, true. It was like a break from the normal, like depressing. Sort of. Exactly. Wow. Yeah. I imagine they've probably seen some stuff like equally as ridiculous.
Exactly.
Wow. Also, how crazy would it be if like they couldn't get the swordfish out? So this guy's like on an operating table.
The swordfish is flopping around still, and like the doctors are like slapping it to get it out of the way.
Like they don't want to knocking shit off of
because like the doctors were like, oh, this is a pretty good swordfish, like if we keep it, like this could be dinner tonight.
Like wait a minute, I could sell this for a lot to a restaurant. I mean, just clean the blood off of it, but whatever.
Right, exactly. The fish is still good. They kept it on ice very properly. These were good fishermen. It was just alive the whole time. They're actually trying to keep the swordfish alive and like don't really care about the patient.
Like, oh, you'll be fine, but this swordfish though,
we must keep the swordfish alive.
Whatever.
Exactly.
We don't waste our food here.
Precisely. So Alexis, let's get into so the theories of why there's such a prolific amount of Florida Man tales. Maybe yes, indeed, in part due to things like bath salts or like meth and like the horrible opioid epidemic, and like Florida has some hot spots of these, as many states do. But the actual reason why, we're going to backtrack a little bit and go to the federal level, which I'm sure you're very familiar, Alexis, that there are freedom of information laws in place.
FOIA.
which basically, for those who don't know, is it's based on the idea that the public does and should have the freedom to access information, so like files, communications, documents, et cetera,
from a transparent government.
Yes, exactly. From public bodies, aka the government. Yeah, it's known as like openness in government. And we should indeed have that. And it can be a pain in the ass to actually get that sometimes. We're not going to get into that.
As someone on the government side who has had to process them, it can likewise be a pain in the ass to send folks the information, but it's worth it for openness and democracy and transparency of government. So a little burden goes a long way in the public interest. So we love FOIA.
It's good that it exists. Yeah, FOIA is the Freedom of Information Act.
Yes.
So that's at the federal level. At the state level, states get to craft what openness looks like for the state and local level. So within their own borders, jurisdictions. And these, of course, run the gambit of being really restricted and really hard to get information to being really open and accessible. And Florida's actually has become known as one of the most accessible in a lot of regards because it was established in 1995 and it's called the Sunshine Law because, it's the Sunshine State. So at its most basic level, the Sunshine Law allows for anyone in the public to access state, county, and municipal records at any time. And why it's considered such a pro-access law, and obviously there's exemptions and things because of course. But it's because this law is getting wonky. Sorry, everyone, but we love law. So we're
I'm
into
about it. This is this stuff I do at work all the time. So I love
this.
Yeah.
Please, Bird.
Do tell.
Please, Alexis. So basically, in Sunshine Law, all of the definitions are extremely broad. So the definition of state agency or public record are super broad and not specific, which makes it so that anyone can argue that a piece of information fits a definition. So if it's really narrowly defined, essentially, that would mean like there's not a lot of wiggle room to say like, yes, this information I want fits it. Oh, no, there's too many parameters that have restricted it. They can deny it. But because all of these things in the Sunshine Law are really broad, it means everything runs the gambit.
Everything goes. Yeah.
Yep. So because it's so accessible and so broad, police reports are all open public access. So because it's also so easy to get, police reports are quick and easy to get a hold of. So reporters have like an endless supply of crime news to report on because they can super quickly. I mean, I'm sure it's still a process, but essentially way easier than you can in most other states. You can just like tap in and get those weird ass stories. Because like in reality, every state has like weird ass dumb people doing weird ass dumb shit and getting in trouble for it. Exactly. It's America. It's just that in Florida, anyone can read about it and write about it at any time. And so, basically because of like, and I'll say a really great law. I don't know. I just know the basics of this law. I'm sure there's problems with it. Yada, yada, yada. Florida's a hot mess. Again, who isn't in any state? But because of this like pro-access law, it's given us the viral Florida Man. So thanks, Sunshine Law.
Thank you.
That's it.
Hey, we love transparent government, and look at what it gives us.
Gives us the Florida Man.
Thank you, Sunshine Law, for many reasons.
Yes, exactly. Not least of which is the Florida Man trope. So there you have it. That's our first crime caper.
Amazing.
The classic.
There it is. We'll be back for many more. I can't wait. We'll probably will end up talking about more Florida men because there are, as Grace just explained, there are endless stories that are easily accessible. But there's also a lot of funny court cases that I know we're going to be talking about in the future. And crime capers will be another fun bonus content clip from us. So definitely be on the lookout for more of these.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.